Sorry, I ain't got no video at the moment, and that is only because I'm walking the dog right now. It's a little bit rainy, so I know I got the protective case on the phone. I got to make it work the way I do. What is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday to anybody who stops by and listen. It's your boy Fury, and I have to be honest with you. I've been completely out of the loop when it comes to gaming. I've heard some things, but for the most part, generally, it seems like I'm out of the loop. It's just not the same type of genre anymore when it comes to console gaming. And I think a lot of that belongs, there's blame, a lot of, what I'm trying to say is a lot of that falls on the fans, on the fanboys, that is. Why I say that? It's this simple. It's this simple. Y'all pushing to compete with a format that is too expensive for y'all to compete with. So the companies who make these consoles, well, mainly Microsoft and Sony, they want your money. This is what they're in the business for. If it was strictly for just to entertain you with nothing in return, they could do what they want. But unfortunately, they have to stay within the parameters of what's cost effective to them and what satisfies you. And they have to dance a fine line with that. And unfortunately, they can't do that the way you want it. And you can thank your president for that too. But this ain't a political stream. Political stuff ain't my forte. Until we get this shit situated down with tariffs, things have gotten expensive. I'm a collector, and I listen to people who also make the things that I collect. Now, I go to Big Bad Toy Store, and guess what happens, y'all? They're now charging tariffs on anything that was ordered after the tariff rules went into effect. I know he's getting punked on a public, he's getting punked on a global level with these, but it's still affecting the price line. And the same thing is happening with electronics. Where you think we get a lot of these parts from? And the thing is, even if you out there and you're spending $700 on a PlayStation 5 Pro, and the games ain't even playing that well on it like they should be programmed. Because you got this powerful console, and guess what? If the developer isn't that good, what they're going to do? They can't make nothing out of it that you wanted to. They can't enhance it that well. Some are just lazy. I honestly think the mid console refresh this generation was a bad idea. Last generation with Sony, I can understand that because they were pumping out classics. Well, not classics. They were pumping out games like crazy and they were doing fairly well. But they weren't doing good enough. They weren't doing good enough, y'all. And I think that's the problem right there. If they ain't doing well enough, they're not going to continue to put the games out. Everybody was sitting there trying to make fun of Microsoft, but Microsoft saw something ahead of time. And now look at it. We fast forward to today, and guess what's happening? Who's putting their games, or going to start putting some of their games on the other console, just like Microsoft is doing? You guessed it, Sony. And it started with Helldivers. Helldivers 2. Now, if you think this is a one off, you are sadly mistaken. The game actually had traction on Xbox, just as Gears of War Reloaded has traction on PlayStation 5. The console wars are over. Stop fighting them. I know a lot of people have made their channels off of such, but just like the ecosystem of the PlayStation first party games, it's not long term sustainable. And I'm not one of these PC master race people, but let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. I don't play like that when it comes to uh where I want to play at. If they all have something I can enjoy, I will enjoy it. If there's something that's worth criticizing on each one, I will criticize such. I can't just sit there and be like, all right, I'm gonna take what they give me. My name ain't Jimmy. I take what you give me. I ain't one of those type of people. You have to actually show and prove. But a lot of people don't want that. They just want to be part of the cool kids club. Why every time I bring up something in fan bases, it's all about the cool kids club rather than what's right and what's wrong? Sorry, walking my dog. So if you hear that bag, you know what I'm doing. All right. Uh, so we got to make it work. Why everybody is want to be part of the cool kids club? Nobody wants to stand on their own and think like, wait a minute, this might be something that ain't good. This ain't a good idea. I ain't this big of a fan of an artist, a gaming company, a game development company. I'm not a big fan of them like that. Meaning like, yeah, I like the work you do, but you're not gonna pull a fast one on me and think it's gonna be totally okay. And I can't sit here and waste my energy talking about, a game that I barely played in its past iterations. I'm going to be disappointed with because it's not out. It got canceled. Like for years, what did I see a lot of PlayStation fanboys do? Y'all was dragging Scalebound. Let it go. Like, this is all you have? Like, after a certain while, you kind of got to grow up. I'm not saying completely just put on an ascot and start smoking a pipe and drinking bourbon by the fire every night and talk about the good old days. I'm talking about you, you're beating dead horses out here. Beating dead fucking horses out here for what? Because you got a bunch of people to follow you and y'all create this hive mind situation. You see, this is what I deal with at work also. And I say, like, yo, I can't do this shit. I can't. I hate hive mind. I don't want people to gravitate to me because I think the same thing they think. A lot of people only want to hear what validates their little narrow world. And then once they join a hive mind, guess what they end up doing? They end up attacking anybody who criticizes what they are enamored with, be it a console, be it a musician, be it a few things. That's what they do. They attack them as if it's personal. And people have this whole thing where, all right, well, it's disembodiment. It's on the computer. I could do whatever I want to do. It don't mean it's no skin off my back. I don't know the person. Fuck them. That's the type of mentality a lot of people have. And I'm saying to myself, like, yo, bro, that ain't cool. People, that ain't cool. People have this whole mindset that they disembody. It's a disembodiment. That's how we know a lot of y'all ain't got friends in real life or have poor interaction skills. There's no way in hell I could do that in the right conscience and just sit there and attack somebody because of a difference of opinion. Be it a console, be it a game, be it a company. There's no way I could sit there and just attack somebody for that. Where there's more important things in this world that need to be talked about. But like I said, if you want to focus strictly on gaming, you can't call yourself a hardcore gamer and you sitting there like Harmon Smith getting fatter every year we see his ass talking about Nintendo. And people say it's a character. I don't care. There's certain characters you just gotta give up playing. Like Case in point, do you see James Rolfe being a nerd 24/7? No. He let it be known after a while. It's a character, it's a format, it's a script. This is what he do. Doug Walker did the same thing. Hell, even somebody like Cuban Alex. Oh no, it's Alex. That's him being a himbo. It's character work, but it's based. A lot of it's based with a lot of their facts. I mean, based with their opinions and how they live when it comes to who they play with and what they play on. And it's fun for some people. Then you got people who get into it at a late age and they seem misguided and lost. Somebody like X Fault that looks like Vitoris Mendez from Resident Evil 4 and shit, false eye and all. And the way he delivers Salt is it has no heart to it. It has no value to it. It's just garbage. Like, he a pork chop with no seasoning. That's what I think of when I look at X Fault. And then you got people who kind of make it fun, but they have to show you that they are racist, unfortunately. And we have people like that who got a little bit of racism to them, like Fratanga. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Every time you see something black, it's not funny no more, my man. It's not funny. Every time you see a black character when you're doing a live stream review of a game show and you say it's woke, that shit ain't funny to me. As a black man, that shit ain't funny. And I'm gonna tell you why it's not funny. Because that's not what the word means. If you do your history, but you don't care to do your history, meanwhile, a lot of your people are coming up here and they have an issue with my people for no fucking reason at all. And they adapt, I'm sorry, ideology from racist white people. I'm gonna just say it like that. They adopt that ideology and it kind of peeks through. And it's like he's one of those type of people who make content like, bro, you did a face reveal and you you look very authentic to what you are, and you're still making content, and you're and we are the butt of your jokes. Like, you can only enjoy that in certain dosages. You can only enjoy that in certain dosages, man. But in all, even he had to understand that it can't be just sitting here always console wars. You got to look at the companies who run these type of games and these type of systems that make console gaming uh, seem like it's going the way of the dodo. Case in point, Switch 2. I've even said to people like, yo, I don't know how you can support Nintendo. They are a terrible fucking company. And I mean that with every fiber of my being. I can put aside the nostalgia that I had with them, but with every fiber of my being, I can tell you they are a horrible company. They've been a horrible company since the damn 80s, and they are some of the worst people when it comes to draconian laws. How the fuck you gonna sit on so many classic games, don't give them to your fan base, and they willing to pay for it? God knows they pay for everything else. They're willing to pay for a lot of this, and you will not hold it. You will not make it available in a way that's feasible or palatable for people's wallets. You're the first one to sue somebody for archiving, which I put archiving in quotation marks for archiving your games, but you don't have them available. And then when you do put out compilations, they're not even touched up. Like, who does that? And how is it acceptable? Let me explain something to you. If you're letting them get away with it just because you want your team to win, it's going to have an asterisk next to it. And that's honestly how I feel when it comes to Nintendo and how they do things. It's going to have an asterisk next to it because they don't give a damn. You have made them comfortable. You made them comfortable with how they can sell their games to people. Remember when games were gold? Sorry, bus going next to me. Remember when games were gold was being told that it's being done away with or the price is going up, and the moment they called the fans and the customers got upset with that. Remember how Microsoft instantly listened and put it right back to what it was? Y'all don't do that with Nintendo. And they're totally comfortable with pissing in your face or calling it rain. That's what they do. So even with nostalgic gaming, after a while, honestly, I got tired of a lot of certain things. And if you like it, hey, you like it. But there's no way in hell I'm that much of a Legend of Zelda fan that I have to buy Nintendo every generation to play a game because it's so good. I fear missing out on it. Nintendo and FOMO have been, they are two things that haven't been in the same sentence in my vocabulary, except for me just now and explaining why. Explaining why. And no, this is not me saying I need them to come to other consoles for me to play the game. No, it's the fact that they don't step out of their comfort zone. They're comfortable with mistreating their fan base. Sometimes I think they don't even like money. Well, they like money, but they don't like it. They like to dictate how they like money. You ain't gonna just come in and be like, "Hey, I want this. This is how it's gonna go," and they be like, "Okay, we're gonna listen to you." No, they're gonna make it very difficult for you to actually feel like you've been victorious, meaning like you got what you wanted. No, you take what they give you, and you've been doing it for many game generations. Honestly, my last favorite Nintendo home console was GameCube, not N64. GameCube was my last favorite console by them. The Wii came out; it was basically a GameCube with motion controls to it. Wii U came out. That screen was a lot more innovative. The Wii U screen was one of my favorite things I like playing on. I thought that was very innovative, but Nintendo didn't market it correctly. And then it came to Switch. And the Switch came out the gate already outdated. But the fact that we let this company marry both the handheld market, which they had on lock, and the console market that they didn't have on lock. And it was their way out. They used their handheld popularity to allow us to just basically phase out the console for the hybrid for them. And guess what y'all have been doing ever since that happened? Y'all been making excuses for them. When we say, "Hey, why the technology is outdated?" Oh well, you gotta understand, it's a bulk. Buying it in bulk, it makes it cheaper. This is how Nintendo stays profitable. Yeah, I get that. I get the business aspect of it. But why do we continue to let it happen? Because we get ports of games that can't hold a candle to their competitors. And we're like, well, the fact that it's running on the Switch was great. That's what we do. That's what we do for them. The fact that it's running on them, it's great. No, I can't use that as an excuse. And what do we get for the umpteenth time? We get what do we get for the umpteenth time? We get a rendition of Legend of Zelda, a Super Mario game, a Kirby game, and then we wait for the next console to come out. Maybe if the next one comes out, maybe if it has a long enough shelf life, like Switch or so, we might get a second Mario game. We might. And I know I've gone on this rant for a long time about Nintendo for a few minutes now, but it needs to be said. And then it seems like they listened with the Switch 2 to a degree when it comes to how they are kind of trying to reverse the whole thing of key code cartridges. And people always say, well, the last company to have physical media would be Nintendo. Nah, Nintendo, like, all right, whatever. And guess what? They were already having their prices hiked up. Remember GameStop? Remember when you want to buy a pre-owned copy of a rare Super Mario game? It's $70 for a used copy because you can't get any more. They've been doing this for years. They starved the market, put out as little as possible, and make shit more important than what it is. And I get that less is more, but no, you're banking in on people not being able to get it. And they're willing to pay. These people out here speeding. It's raining. They don't get it. Sorry about that in the background, but oh well. I am off duty. If you crash, everybody, people die in car accidents every day, B. But back to what I was saying about Nintendo. They make it seem like, oh, this is a once in a lifetime deal. You're gonna send five consoles to the store at the time, and you're not gonna be able to get one unless you pre-order it. And then the scalpers get, and Nintendo make no money off of the scalpers. But scalping is another thing that's been a big issue too. Remember the pandemic, y'all? I would tell y'all something. Y'all might think I'm a bastard for this, but I want y'all to hear this. One of my friends that I used to work with in the game store years ago was scalping during the pandemic. He was scalping Series S for $600 because of the pandemic. And I'm like, bro, that's I mean that's 600. Like the thing was $300. He was scalping it for like, yeah, damn near doubled its price. He was like, you understand, yo, this is how we do business. Guess what happened to this motherfucker? He ended up with COVID, almost died in the hospital. And the part of me thinks that's karma. Am I a monster for that shit? He's alive, okay? But this motherfucker was scalping everything under the sun, and he ended up with COVID. I like to think that karma's a bitch. I know y'all can affidate, y'all can post stamp my descent to hell. I don't care. But even even then, during those times where I watched people die. I was putting bodies in refrigerators because I was working housekeeping, and then I became a legit EMT on the street. People had oxygen levels in their system at 70%. You're supposed to have 95 and better to survive. People need to be intubated. When it hit us like a brick. But you had people like him trying to make bank off of people because they couldn't find stuff in the store. Hell, over in the UK, do you remember there was actually a delivery guy who stole the parcel from the person he was supposed to deliver it to because it was a PlayStation 5? I'm sorry. I would have beat the fuck out of him. Firing him ain't enough. He would have got his ass whooped. And here we are now. The console, the PS5 Pro is almost the amount. It probably is nearly the amount it was being scalped as. The regular one was being scalped as back in the day. But there's nothing to play on it. If you want to play the third remake of Last of Us, by all means, go ahead. But this is where I want to make that jump to. What I want to talk about also moving forth. You're talking to somebody, and I know this might sound it might sound um, excessive. I have 3 PCs that I built within the last few years. I have one connected to my TV in the back of my place, of my apartment. I have one next to my bed, and I have one at my desk. All built, all capable of running games, all integrated with my Steam system, with my Steam account. I have that. And this is where we're going to end up going because I feel like consoles are going to get way, way more expensive to nearly the price of a PC because they are already. I'm going to tell you, PlayStation 6, if they come out with it, PlayStation, well, they are coming out. It's inevitable. PlayStation 6 and the next Xbox are going to be a lot of money. Hell, look how much the Rogue Alley's being. Look how much the portable Xbox, the Steam Xbox device is going to be. Lots of money. A lot of money. So imagine what a console is going to be like going forth. Just imagine that. So you're going to take something that's possibly like, hey, this sounds like it's put together already, but it's almost the price of a PC. For a little bit more extra money, I can up my specs. I could do this to it. I can add that to it. I can interchange this in a few years. And I'm not a person who started out like this. I have my base PS5. I have my Switch. I ain't bought it too. Fuck that. And I have my Xbox Series S and X. I have all this stuff. And I have to accept the fact that it seems that it's going to be, this is the future. This is the future of gaming. And a lot of stuff I got now look like it's going to be proof to play the well anticipated Grand Theft Auto 6. Now that I got these pieces, you think I'm gonna buy that on console? Especially when you can build a PC and you can actually hook up you can Bluetooth for an Xbox Series S controller or a PlayStation 5 controller to it and stuff. Because people always thought I gotta learn how to play with the keyboard and the mouse. No, not this day and age. You don't really have to do that no more. You can just basically PC gaming has become a lot more accessible to people who had a apprehension of playing with keyboard and mouse. You can do that. You can learn that if you play your FPS games. If you get master that down, it will help you be a better shot because of the precise clicking on it. But if you are a console gamer, like you were born a console gamer like I was, you can it's always customizable for you. It's always customizable for you. And I'm saying this to you like from a person who put money into building these things at different times. This is how you're going to be playing games going forth. And a lot of you console gamers, this is your fault. When the PC people started coming out here talking about master race this, master race that. Y'all took the bait and y'all started throwing specs back at them, which we know was an outlandish thing to do. And this is where these companies heard that. They saw dollar signs. They said, okay, we give you that quality. We give you the closest thing we have to that quality, but you're going to be paying us a lot of money. And this is where we end up at now. I think I'm good enough now. I don't think my dog wants to do anything else. He seems to just be enjoying the walk. So let me see if I can turn this thing back on now. Why is the camera zoomed in so much? All right, here we go. All right, so I got the lapel mic right here. So it stopped raining. I can take this down. All right. So I just feel a lot of this that we're paying for and we complaining about the prices going up is a multitude of things, from tariffs to console fans wanting to compete with PC, which is a foolish thing they're doing. Like, these companies see all this stuff, and guess what they end up doing? They end up saying, okay, like I just said a moment ago, we would give you that, but you're going to pay. You're going to pay a lot. I swear some people know it be looking like they don't want to stop at stop signs. Uh, you're going to pay a lot. And this is why we are in this mess we're in now. To be honest with you, that's the one reason. That's the reason why I built PCs. I built them because I knew how to do them, and if I ever needed to get rid of my games, I know I could still play some things because that's where Microsoft makes their money at. Case in point, Game Pass. I'm not missing out on their day ones as long as I'm paying the monthly subscription. I'm not missing out on day ones, right? And I still got some games to play. And then if I wanted to really get with a PC and with PlayStation, you could do the same thing with PlayStation as well with a lot of their games. So if I all together needed to sell or abandon console, but still wanted access to certain console games, the first party games, for the consoles, I could do that. The only physical console I would need is a Nintendo console if I felt like playing Nintendo games again. But like I said, they're too repetitive. And I hate to harp on Nintendo. No, the fuck I don't. Actually, it needs to be said. If they just stepped out of their comfort zone and made new franchises, I've been saying this for like 15 years about Nintendo. More than that, probably 2 decades. They need to step out of their comfort zone and make more games. Not adult games. They need to make new franchises. They don't. For a company that don't want to offer you nostalgic games that they will sue you for if you archive, they sure ain't putting out nothing. They're not giving you those games. They're not giving them to you the way, they're not giving them to you in new renditions. So, did they announce the Smash Brothers yet for the Switch 2? Or are they still trying to sell you Mario Kart, which had a really bad rollout, which is very empty world? Are they gonna go back and fix that up? What was the PC game that came out that had really nothing to it, but then it improved No Man's Sky? Are they going No Man's Sky Mario Kart? That's a genuine question. That's something a lot of you should ask yourself. Like I'm a fan of Struggle Stream. I watch Struggle Stream with Super Rig and Brisk. Super Rig is a big Mario Kart fan. That's all he bought it for. And I was saying to him, I was telling him how bad of a company they are. All these companies got something to them. No, even fucking Microsoft, even them. despite us having, despite them having the Game Pass. Guess what Game Pass is robbing us of? Physical media. And guess what? Even if I was to get let go of the consoles that I have, I still have all those games, which I can't sell because a lot of them probably don't have no worth to them. So it'd be pointless to sell. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep them, right? So I need something to play them on. And let's be honest, Series X plays but so much of these games. Where am I going to, if I put in certain games and disc in there, it won't allow me play it. Say this one ain't supported. Maybe this is supported. Maybe that is supported. Maybe I need to go through my library right now and see what games are supported. Then when you do have them supported, you're going to run out of space for storage. It's a very fucked up way of putting it. There's no online storage. There's no cloud really that helps you store these games in the archives. You gotta rely on physical media. You gotta rely on physical storage, and that becomes a lot. So what? Imagine if I plugged in. I went home and plugged in my 360 right now, and guess what? They say we no longer support this. You got all these games for it, but we no longer support this online to do upgrades necessary to play the game natively. And I'm like, what? Like, like this is why. This is the main reason why I don't want physical media to die. This is the main reason I don't want physical media to die. Because how are you going to kill off the support for a console that is based mostly on physical media just because you want people to move on to what you have now? You have to honor your past. You have to honor your past because a lot of people are here with you right now because of the past. Who was the guy who's running PlayStation, the last guy to run it before the new guy? What was it, Jim Ryan? Jim Ryan. Now, Jim Ryan said he looked at a lot of these games. Sorry, I said something on my watch. He said he looks at a lot of these games and he don't imagine how people want to still play these games because their graphics don't look good. They're older games. They are a product of their time. But these games were so a game's look is supposed to match. Like what I'm trying to say is, if I'm playing Metal Gear Solid 3, I didn't ask for a game like Delta. I didn't ask for Delta, but it's here, and it will make Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater accessible to a new generation of people who've never played it before. I see why the remake is here. I mean, well, the reskinning of it. Let's be honest here. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is just a massive graphical update. This is why all the voices are still the same. The performances are still the same. There might be some small refinements to the gameplay, but it's not a remake, people. It will not be. It's not a remake. And you know why I'm bringing this up? Because a lot of people really upset me 2 years ago. Oh, how can a game like Resident Evil 4 be in the contention to win an award? It's just a, it, it's just a, what's that again? Damn, I just said it. It's just a reskin. No, Resident Evil 4 remake is a game that stands on its own. That's like imagine me saying, "Oh well, how can uh how can Resident Evil 3 be it's how could it stand on its own when Nemesis was out?" Well, people will say we will respect Nemesis because Nemesis was a better game. Overall, it had more to do in the game. But the only thing about this current Resident Evil 3 that came out is the fact that it shares the same name and characters. The game is different. Nemesis is on rails, meaning he's timed. Nemesis pops out at the same moment every time you play the game. Whereas the original Nemesis AI was off point. Certain things you do can change his trajectory. Certain things you did change the direction of the game. This game was very linear. And I tell a lot of people, would you call that, well, let's say for example Resident Evil 3 was good, was like really revered despite it being different. If it had, I'm telling you this now, if it had this, if it had all the locations that the original had, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. But why am I comparing that to 4? It's because 4 has everything, has locations that the original part 4 had, but the story's a lot different. The format is a lot different. The gameplay mechanics are a lot different. Well, not a lot different, but you could do a lot more. The story has been refined. The whole dynamic of them making Krauser Leon's training his commander and trainer works a lot better. And the psychological war games that he was playing, trying to play with Leon, that Leon overcame, besides the physicality, it made it feel much more like a great story. Hell, people complained a long time about uh, Lily Gal's performance as Ada. And I know it's not Jolene Anderson. I get it, blah, blah, blah. But let me tell you why I was okay, totally okay with how Lily Gal played Ada. Ada was a spy in part two. And in the part two remake, she played the FBI agent. She played all these types of things. And to Leon, Leon knows who she is now. When she revealed her hand at the game, and she revealed that Annette Birkin was right about her. Guess what he did? He saw her for what she truly was, despite his connection to her, which is a different format from. It's a little bit more refined from how the original was for. He is the one person with RE4. Leon is the one person that Ada let get to her. That's why they compare her to La Femme Nikita. Remember, she was the spy that fell in love, and that's not supposed to happen. So when you see RE4 and you hear that that cold clinical voice, that's her trying not to show her emotions for Leon. But then when like even at the end of the game, when she threw him down the keys in the remake, you hear her just throw the keys down and she have this like almost emotionless talk to him. But then when she speaks like out of his earshot, she was like, you can hear more emotion in her voice. When she spoke to Luis, you can hear more emotion in her voice. When she spoke to Wesker, it was a variation of emotionless to anger to like she spoke. It varies. But around Leon, you heard her speak a certain way. This is the voice direction they went with Capcom with Ada. And a lot of people got upset because they actually went to the source and played it with the actress being of Asian descent, just like Ada is. And people say, "Well, I don't care about that. It's just a voice role." But y'all like Marvin, right? Remember Marvin Branagh and RE2, the original, was voiced by a white man. You can clearly hear that. But when you see Marvin in the RE2 remake, he's voiced by a black man. And it sounds that. And as a black man, I can tell you, we know how, for the most part, even when we got people cooning it up on camera, we can hear. We know. We can hear it in our voices. We know we have a distinct sound, the way we talk, a certain way we deliver our words. Everybody do. I even with the new Ada, you can just hear Lily Gal, you can hear it. There's a distinctness to it. That's what we end up going with. And y'all were mad about that game. People were making all types of hit pieces on it. You had people like Melody Mack, who look like she don't shower. I'm sorry, she do look like that. Oh my God, she sounds terrible. Then I will never forget what that heifer said when MK1 came out, and she called Tanya ugly because she was black. This is what we deal with out here, people. Gaming, entertainment. It all y'all have taken it way too far, and there's no way in hell I could be a fan of a lot of yours because of this. And I know I've gone off on a tangent, but come on, man. Listen to y'all. Listen to yourself sometimes. And the fact many of you don't see nothing wrong with it is the reason why I cannot rub shoulders with y'all. But it always seems like when a brother got an issue with something, y'all always trying to tell us to pick ourselves up by the bootstraps. Why we always complaining? Why we always trying to make race an issue and stuff? Because y'all make it an issue. Y'all make it an issue, and we gonna make it an issue back that you have an issue with it. It's that simple. I'm not even. Do I clearly look Asian to you? No, I don't. But the fact that y'all were complaining that an Asian woman got the role of Ada, who's an Asian character. Oh my God. This is America. This is America. But back on the gaming front, I'm even playing that game. While playing RE4 remake, I'm playing that. That's one of the main games I play a lot on my PC right now. The fact that I can find games on there, hell, I can even hook up my main X and run arcade games on there, which I gotta learn how to do because I'm from an era where you had chipped consoles. Remember having your console chipped up and you're able to play archive games? Yeah, I know I'm talking about it. You were able to play archive games, arcade games, games that you can't find anymore. Arcade is gone. We had the Barcade downtown Jersey City. Barcade was a good spot because Kenny Omega, wrestler Kenny Omega, and wrestler Austin Creed, aka Xavier Woods, filmed a classic three-part series that they had because they are like good friends and gaming rivals, and they play it like almost like a wrestling gimmick as well. They filmed stuff in that barcade, that very barcade. Now it's closed and they're about to demo the building. Arcades is gone. We don't have nothing to really fall back on here. We have nothing. And this is my issue I have with a certain console company that I've talked about way too much in this. That's the issue I have. It's not available. You don't give us viable options to play a lot of your games that we want to play, but y'all be the first ones that want to throw us throw the book at us. That's why PC is going to drown everything out because a lot of the console players want the amenities of a PC, but they think they're going to pay a less price. I'm here to tell you, the more y'all want it to be exactly that way, the more you're going to pay. And keep thinking it's going to be otherwise. You'll be sadly mistaken. You'll be sadly mistaken.
PD over that way.
You all right? Don't look at me. Don't look at me now. Yeah, that's my neighbor's dog. She's in the gate. She loves every time PD go by. She goes crazy over him. You know, I got my dog here with me always. He's 10 years old, y'all. I can't believe it's been a decade since I used to hold him in my arm and walk out the door while I had his dad on the leash. All right, but we almost home. He done did what he needed to do, and it is what it is. Let's get back in his house. Come on, Pete. Come on. Whew. It's been a crazy weekend. All right, let's get here. Let's get on the side. Oh, the light is on. Here we go. Yeah, that whole time you was looking at them, that was the mic. It was not my beard. I refuse to put what some people call Beijing in their beard. I refuse to do that. I ain't gonna be the type that be like, okay, I gotta color. No,